Saturday night at Oswego Speedway marked the 5th running of King of Wings at the Steel Palace, and it featured the Oswego debut of the brand new Jim Bodner Supermodified, wheeled by none other than Dave Schulich Jr. as number 94 in the Shoe 2. Found a lot of speed out of this race car early on in hot laps. And of course, Saturday night not only marked the 3rd round of the Shea Concrete Steel Palace ISMA Super Series, it was also the 8th annual Old Timers reunion at the Speedway. So a lot of friends and family from years past at Oswego Speedway on hand Saturday night. First on the racetrack would be ISMA Supermodified time trials and 5th fastest on Saturday. The driver of the number 17, Ben Seitz, he would lay down a lap of 15.336 seconds to go 5th quick. It's been getting better and better this season on the ISMA Supermodified Trail, 1 feature win this season. 4th fastest would be the Rowley Rocket Chris Purley, a lap of 15.322. Of course, Purley got the win here at the Speedway on opening day back on May 4th. His teammate, Liquid Lou Ciccone, who held the lap track record coming into Saturday, ran a lap of 15.213 seconds, just shy of his track record speed back in June. And 2nd fastest would be Dave Schulich Jr. Actually would set a new track record for the time being, a lap of 15.154 seconds in the Bodner prepared car number 94. But just before he went out onto the racetrack, Mike Lichty in the Reed Salvage Patco Transportation number 84 set the fastest lap in Oswego Speedway history, a lap of 15.019 seconds to set fast time on Saturday night, a full 1/10 of a second faster than the Extreme Sprint Car Series that came to the Speedway just 1 year ago. Lichty quick time in ISMA Supermodified time trials. Next onto the Speedway would be the first of 3 Pathfinder Bank SBS qualifying heat races with Scott Schaefer in the 76 and Mike Bruce in the 22, starting up there in row number 1 as Greg O'Connor and Jack Patrick do battle further on back. Bruce would eventually find the low side of the Speedway going into corner number 1 to take the top spot from the rookie Schaefer in car number 76 as he slid high coming out of corner number 2, leaving the lane open for the number 24 of AJ Burness, but he was unable to find his way by as a long line of cars battle here further back, including the 04 of Craig Harrith, the 74 of Mike Bond, and the 9 of Patrick as they barely come together coming out of corner number 2. Both cars are able to continue on, but they would lose a couple of positions on the Speedway. Checkered flag coming out of corner number 4, Bruce in the Ted Neck Racing. Car number 22 would get his first heat race win of the season here at the Speedway on Saturday night. Heat race number 2 for the Pathfinder Bank SBS Series would see the 99 of Dennis Rupert and the 1 of Anthony Lacerdo up there on row number 1 with J.J. Andrews and Dan Apt in row number 2. Lacerdo would slide a touch high out of corner number 2, allowing Andrews to make his way on by. Chris Proud in the 3 and Jason Simmons in the 98 slide by as well. A caution would line up and restack for a restart as Andrews dips to the low side. He would take the race lead on the restart, leaving the inside open for the 3 of Chris Proud and the 18 of Andrew Shartner as well. As Simmons tries to pull down to the inside in corner number 3, he would make it through going into that 3rd turn. J.J. Andrews in the 93, the Billy Whitaker Cars and Trucks machine, would run away with the victory in heat race number 2 over Proud. Simmons in the 98 and Andrew Shartner in car number 18 with Lacerdo and Apt rounding out the front 6 positions. Dalton Doyle and John Tesserario would lead the field to green in heat race number 3 as Doyle gets a bit sideways coming out of corner number 4. That leaves the top lane open for Tesserario in the 4.7s Motorsports car number 47 to pull out into the race lead. Robbie Pullen tucks on into the 3rd spot as Tesserario leads the field down into corner number 3. This one would go uneventful. Tesserario would get the checkered flag, his very first win ever at Oswego Speedway on Saturday night. Tesserario with the victory. From there, we would move into the 3 qualifying heats for the ISMA Supermodifieds, and it was Cody Graham on the outside of row number 1 in the Extreme Chassis, car number 27, edging out Mark Samet into the 78 to take the early race lead with Liquid Lou Ciccone in the 71, running back there in 3rd. Eventually, Ciccone would close in on the back bumper of Graham, pull to the inside, and take the race lead into corner number 1, dropping Graham back into position number 2. Ciccone would pull away from there, nearly a straightaway advantage, as he would race on to the number 1 qualifying heat race victory over Graham in the 27, the 78 of Samet, and then the 65 of Tim Ice further back. Qualifying heat race number 2, Jeff Locke in the 37 would take the early race lead ahead of your defending King of Wings champion Dave Gruhl in the Steve Miller Sweet 16, DJ Schulich and Ben Seitz riding back there 3rd and 4th. Schulich would eventually close in on Gruhl, who would slide way high going into corner number 1, leaving the inside lane open for both Schulich and Seitz to work their way through down the back straightaway as they move up into 2nd and 3rd. Locke in the 37 would lead this one green to checkered with Schulich on his back bumper. The Locke Crane Services car number 37 goes on to the victory in ISMA Supermodified Heat 2 over Schulich, Seitz, Gruhl, Timmy Jedrzejek, and Allison Cummins in car number 39. Third and final ISMA Super Heat race would see Mo Lilji and Ray Graham in the Clyde Booth Racing car number 61 up there on row number 1, and Lilji, who finished 3rd at the Speedway back on June 8th, would pull out into the race late as Mike Lichty and Chris Purley do battle into corner number 3. Lichty would take the spot, but before the lap could be completed, caution lights would hit the Speedway. That would actually put Lichty back behind Purley on the restart, as Lilji would go on to charge away with the win in heat race number 3. Driving the Reed Salvage car number 8 ahead of Graham, Purley, and Lichty in the top 4. Johnny Benson and Rob Summers would finish 5th and 6th in that qualifying heat race. All that would remain in qualifying now would be the large ISMA Supermodified Consi. 8 cars would qualify through this one with Jim Poller and Dan Bowes in the number 25 starting from row number 1, and it would be Poller in the 64 getting out into the early race lead as they run out in front of Danny Connors Jr. in the 01 and Mike McVetta in the 22. Bob Magner riding right back there in car number 40. A tremendous battle between Bobby Dawson, Mike Keeler, Brandon Bellinger, and Danny Shirey further on back as they would all battle to try to get in the 6th, 7th, and 8th qualifying positions to earn the right to start the big King of Wings 5 later on this evening. Poller would go on to get the B-Main victory over the 25 of Bowes and the 22 of McVetta with feature racing. All that remains. Central New York's fastest racing action continues through the month of July at Oswego Speedway. July 18th through the 20th. It's the historic 63rd annual Sunoco Race of Champions Weekend with 6 divisions of racing featuring the Race of Champions Modified 200 on Saturday, plus a 100-lap main event for the Novellas Supermodifieds. 6 divisions, 2 nights of racing, 1 weekend. It's Sunoco Race of Champions at Oswego Speedway. Inside Oswego Speedway is brought to you by Novellas. Not just aluminum, Novellas aluminum. Pathfinder Bank, local community trust. Eagle Beverage, we bring the beer to you. Oswego Bike Fest, riding, rocking, and racing Oswego Speedway. And by Best Western Plus Quality Inn and Suites of Oswego. Saturday night's first King of Wings 5 main event would be for the Pathfinder Bank SBS Series, a 35-lap feature go, presented by Burke's Home Centers, Fleet Pride, and Ponderosa Steakhouse of Oswego, with Schaefer in the 76 and Bruce in the 22 leading the field to green. Bruce would slide a little bit high, allowing J.J. Andrews in that number 93 machine to pull up into the runner-up spot. But before the first lap could be completed, Jeremy Pitcher tangles with another car. Everybody stacks up behind, including the number 9 of Jack Patrick, who took a vicious hit in the outside third turn wall. As you can see, this one develop going into corner number 3. Russ Brown goes around, so too does the 74 of Mike Bond, the 07 of Rob Humphreys, and the 1 of Anthony Lacerdo ends up there as well. All cars would continue on except for the 9 of Patrick, who would have to be hooked off of the speedway. We would try it one more time here with a complete restart, but this time right up front. Schaefer, the 76, Bruce in the 22 come together, stacking everybody up further on behind, including the 18 of Andrew Schartner and the 90 of Greg O'Connor, who both would hit the outside steel in corner number 2 as you get a slow motion replay look at the incident here in the second corner. Schartner in the 18 taking a very hard hit to the turn 2 wall. The 90 of Greg O'Connor would actually catch a wheel. He too would slam the outside steel, knocking several cars out of this one, including the 01 of Dalton Doyle. Well, a single file restart would follow that one, and J.J. Andrews in the 93 would end up inheriting the lead as Mark Castilla would run into issues coming out of corner number 4, but he wisely brings that car into the front straightaway pit entrance so that another yellow flag does not have to fall onto the speedway. Andrews would go on to lead the field out in front ahead of A.J. Burness in the 24 and the 3 of Chris Proud, with Jeremy Pitcher and Russ Brown running further behind. Proud in the 3 car has shown speed all year long, and he showed it early on once again here in the main event, working his way to the low side of Burness into corner number 1. Proud now in the 3 car looked as though he may have something for Andrews in the number 93, but as the race would progress, you could see that Andrews was just a step ahead of everybody else in this one as Pitcher, Brown, Harris, and Danny Aptu battle into corner number 1, with Pitcher sliding a bit high. That leaves the inside lane open for Brown in the 13 to work his way through. Harris in the 04 would slide on by as well, leaving the door open for Apt into corner number 3. Pitcher would lose a few spots, running good in the number 14 just 1 week after his first career SBS main event win at the Speedway. You could see Andrews in the 93 at one point had built over a full straightaway advantage in the Thunder Road Bar and Grill car number 93 machine as he dives into corner number 1, running away with this one. Nobody would have anything for him, but Russ Brown was going to try to work his way through the field and get to the front at all costs. Next, moving to the inside of the 24 of Burness to ride up into position number 3. And it would only take a few more laps for Brown to eventually reel in the 3 of Proud for that runner-up spot. And as Proud tries to look to the inside of the 99 of Dennis Rupert, Brown is able to swing to the outside and move up into the second position. So Russ Brown in car number 13, your championship point leader, does not yet have a feature win in 2013, but now rides up in position number 2. With only 4 laps to go, Bruce in the 22 was trying to make his way under the 17 of Timmy Garou. Caution lights would wave. Andrews would have to hold off Brown on a late race restart, and he would have no issue doing so. J.J. Andrews would go on to collect career win number 3, his first of the 2013 season over Brown. Proud in the 3, Burness finished in 4th, Craig Harris coming on for a top 5 run, ahead of Dan Apt, Jason Simmons, Jeremy Pitcher, Mike Bond, and Timmy Garou in the top 10 as Andrews' Team Tap Out crew greets him in Turning Stone Resort Casino Victory Lane. Andrews would go on to lead all 35 laps on his way to victory.
That's pressure, bro. This feels so good. I can't catch my breath. I'm so freaking excited. Pardon my French, but this is great. And I want to give all the credit to Corey. He's been with me for as many years as I've been doing this. He does everything on the car. He works on it all week with me and Corey. This week, I went out of town. Corey took care of it. Corey Norton. He owns on the go-kart track over there on Friday nights. He comes down here and helps me get ownership on Saturday. I figured Brownie was going to be there. I guess he was, but I don't know how close he was. I'll watch the tape later, but so excited, so unbelievably happy. This is amazing. Who would have thought old guy like me, high blood pressure, amazing hair, can win a feature over here at Oswego Speedway?
No, it was a done deal. They were faster than us tonight. We started there in the back, and I don't know all those wrecks, and I don't know how all that happened. That's too bad. We had a lot of good race cars. But got to thank the crew. The crew's been busting their butt on the car. We're getting closer. And thanks for all the fans showing up, and that's about it. We'll just keep digging. We'll try to get one more spot forward. I didn't see what happened up here. The hole was closed, and I tried to stop, and you can't stop with 20 guys behind you, and I didn't have a choice, so that's what happened there. So it is what it is, and congratulations, Jay and Team Tap Out, and had your car win, so I guess that's the main thing.
Nah, I was pretty good. We didn't have anything for Jay whatsoever, so he was quick. We missed the setup a hair, but we're happy with our season so far. So good to run up front. We built the car ourselves. We're like one of the only guys that does that, and it's pretty satisfying when you can get up on the podium with your own car.
Taking a look at the SBS Contingency Awards from last Saturday night, Tim Garou would be the DNS Landscaping Hard Charger, Danny App, the Nice Price Auto Sales Up-and-Comer, AJ Burness, your White's Car Care 4th Place Award winner, and JJ Andrews would lead all the laps for the Sherwood Racing Wheels Lap Leader Award. Championship standings now, Russ Brown back up to a 38-point lead on Mike Bond with Jason Simmons riding third. Central New York's fastest racing action continues through the month of July at Oswego Speedway. July 18th through the 20th, it's the historic 63rd annual Sunoco Race of Champions Weekend with 6 divisions of racing, featuring the Race of Champions Modified 200 on Saturday, plus a 100-lap main event for the Novellis Supermodifieds. 6 divisions, 2 nights of racing, 1 weekend. It's Sunoco Race of Champions at Oswego Speedway. Inside Oswego Speedway is brought to you by Novellis. Not just aluminum, Novellis aluminum. Pathfinder Bank. Local community trust. Eagle Beverage. We bring the beer to you. Oswego Bike Fest. Riding, rocking, and racing Oswego Speedway. And by Best Western Plus Quality Inn and Suites of Oswego. With everything else in the books, it was now time for King of Wings 5 on Saturday night with Tim Ice in the 65 and Ray Graham. And car number 61 leading the field to green with Liquid Lou Ciccone. Riding right there in position number 3 in the Vic Miller. Car number 71, Ice would pull out into the early race lead over Graham and Ciccone. And after an early caution, it would be Ciccone in the 71 car, starting to look to the outside of Graham in the 61, but look further back, the 84 of Lichty. Mike Lichty in the Reed Salvage 84 machine worked to the inside of the 17 of Ben Seitz. Lichty, who was fast all day long, setting a new track record and slicing his way through the field in heat racing competition, would now be up into 4th. But just a lap or so later, Ciccone in the 71 would run into issues into corner number 1. Engine problems on the 71 machine would drop Ciccone out of this one early on. After the restart, Lichty would continue his march through the field, this time moving to the outside of Graham in the 61 machine to take over that runner-up spot. And eventually the 84 would next chase down Ice in the 65, this time moving to the low side out of corner number 4 to take the race lead in the 84, and he would simply check out in front of this one. Moving away from the field in car number 84, yellow lights on the speedway, the 40 of Bobby Magner would spin just in front of your leader. That would slow the field down one more time, and now the car on the move would be both the 11 of Chris Purley and the 94 of Dave Schulich Jr. As they start to move their way through the field, Purley in the 11 goes to the outside of the 17 of Seitz. Schulich had worked his way under the 37 of Locke, pushing their way through the pack, trying to chase down your race leader Lichty. As Purley next looks to the outside of the 61 of Graham, coming out of corner number 4. Purley now up into the runner-up spot, your winner back on May 4th here at the Speedway. But as he continued to work his way through the field, Graham would spin out of corner number 4, and that would slow the field down one more time. And in doing so, Purley now up onto the back bumper of the 25 of Dan Bowes, and they made contact. Purley hit the outside wall hard in corner number 4, knocking himself out of the event. As we get another look at the replay here, going into corner number 3, you can see the left front of the 11 just barely making contact with the right rear of the 25 machine, and that would send Purley into the outside wall as he spins to a stop over in corner number 4. On the restart, Dave Schulich in the 94 car continued to work his way on through the field as he pulls to the inside of the 17 of Seitz, coming out of corner number 4 into that first corner. But Lichty out in front in the 84 machine, looking very good as he avoids the 27 of Cody Graham, who had hit the wall hard out of corner number 2. Graham was running very well in this event. The best running Oswego regular, he was up into the top 10, but he too caught the right rear wheel of the Bowes number 25 on lap number 48. That would leave a green-white checkered finish to the end, with Lichty holding off the 94 of Schulich to go on and reclaim the ISMA King of Wings crown, his second victory, and the first repeat winner in the King of Wings event at Oswego Speedway over Schulich, Seitz, Tim Ice, and Jeff Locke in the top 5. As the Reed Salvage car number 84 once again pulls into Turning Stone Resort Casino Victory Lane at Oswego Speedway.
This was a hell of a run. Man, I love coming to this place. We won it 2 years ago. The car was just on rails, and we've been quick all year here. We just haven't had the finishes at this place, and we really put it to them about 2 weeks ago at Stafford. The car was phenomenal, and come back here, running the 15.0s. I really wanted to make it into the 14.9s, but I just got to thank everybody on this team, man. They worked so hard, and they give me a phenomenal car. Everybody at Reed Salvage, my father with Paco Transportation. This is Deanna, my mother-in-law's first time at the track when we've won. Usually she's a bad luck, but I think she's turning it around now. Just got to thank everybody, my beautiful girlfriend Raven, Dickie, Ryan, everybody that puts effort on these cars, Zach at the shop. They work awesome, and it shows. Level performance, man, that thing makes good horsepower, and I just can't thank the fans enough.
It's been real good to us. It's the third race we've had on it, and it's been, we won last week at Sandusky, and to start 12th today, we were just going to take whatever it gave us and to come away with a second place finish. I know there was some attrition in there, but hats off to Mikey, and he had a good run, a good car. And I have to thank Kevin and Kim Enders for all they do for us, Elios Financial Group, Jim Bodnar for building a hell of a piece. I'm just the guy that gets to turn the steering wheel. And my dad, Coco, Pat, everybody that works in the car makes it happen for us. This car actually, it has some characteristics. It doesn't fade, and we thought it wouldn't. And there was a lot of cars that were slowing down, and we kind of stayed the same. And actually, I think it picked up a little bit at the end. So I don't know, on the last restart, we didn't have anything for Mikey, but it was a good run. We're happy, and 2 weeks, High Miler Nationals, that's the one we want.
Very good. I've always liked this racetrack. Car was really good tonight. We didn't have anything for Licky. He was on a different time zone, just like Stafford. But we'll take third. Like I said, the car was real good. I need to thank Brian Allegresso, my sponsor, Sam LaRusso and his family, LaRusso Heavy Equipment. They make this whole thing go. My crew, Dickie Bean, everybody's been working hard. And, we're starting to get a lot more top fives, top threes this year, so things are looking good.
Central New York's fastest racing action continues through the month of July at Oswego Speedway. July 18th through the 20th. It's the historic 63rd annual Sunoco Race of Champions Weekend with 6 divisions of racing, featuring the Race of Champions Modified 200 on Saturday, plus a 100-lap main event for the Novellas Supermodifieds. 6 divisions, 2 nights of racing, 1 weekend. It's Sunoco Race of Champions at Oswego Speedway.